This is a Code Ninja security advisory. Listen up. We're tracking a critical remote code execution vulnerability in Apache ActiveMQ Classic. The designation is CVE-2026-34197. This is a direct threat to your infrastructure. It's time to act now.
All right, let's get straight to it. My goal here is to give you the operational intel you need for immediate mitigation and to harden your perimeter. We're going to break down the threat, the exploit chain, and your defensive actions.
You need to understand this timeline. So, look, the vulnerability was reported, patches were developed, but now the exploit is out in the open. That means we are right inside that critical window where the bad guys are already weaponizing this. Patching isn't optional, it is absolutely imperative. Okay, so what's really insidious here is how this thing is put together. This isn't just some simple bug. It's a clever chain of perfectly legitimate features: a management API, a broker operation, a transport protocol, all stitched together to get total system compromise. I'm about to give you the intel you need to break that chain.
Okay, hold on. Before we really get into the weeds of the exploit, we need to make sure this comms link is solid. You need to be getting these updates in real time. This is just standard op procedure.
I need you to acknowledge the following protocols. This confirms you're receiving this critical threat feed. It's all about operational readiness. First, you subscribe and you hit that notifications bell. Why? Because that ensures you get this kind of intel the second it drops. No delays. Second, hitting like is your formal ACK. It tells me you've received this advisory. Go ahead and execute those actions now.
Now, this next part is vital intelligence gathering for all of us. Drop a comment, patched or vulnerable. This helps the entire community, all of us, gauge the real blast radius of this thing. Provide your status.
Good. Comms check complete. Let's move on to the technical deep dive. We're breaking down the attack vector piece by piece. The details matter here, so pay close attention.
This is a 5-step chain, and it is, well, it's elegant in its deadliness. So the attacker starts by using the Jolokia management API, calls a perfectly legitimate function, add network connector. Think of this as, a manageable component inside the app. But here's the trick. They feed it a malicious VM/URI. This forces the broker to go out and load a remote XML file as its new configuration. And here's the kill shot. The code in that remote file executes before the broker even gets a chance to validate it. It's game over.
Okay, now here's where things get really bad. This is the amplifier. So your standard attack requires credentials, right? But let's be honest, way too many systems are still running defaults. But it gets worse. If you are on ActiveMQ version 6.0.0 through 6.1.1, there's a totally separate vulnerability, CVE-2026-34197, that leaves the API wide open, just completely exposed. And for those systems, this isn't just an RCE. It's a zero-auth, zero-click RCE. No credentials needed.
All right, this table lays out your marching orders, your patching priorities. Look at that top line. If you're on the 6.0.0 to 6.1.1 branch, you are at maximum risk. You're not just patching. This is an emergency upgrade. Get off that version line immediately. For everyone else on an affected version, it's still an authenticated RCE, which is a high-priority threat. So upgrade, then verify.
Look, intel is useless without action. So let's talk defensive posture. We're moving on to actionable countermeasures, hardening protocols. This is your defense in depth, right here.
Okay, here are your orders. Listen carefully. 1. Patch. Upgrade to the versions on your screen. This is non-negotiable. 2. Harden. If you're still using admin, rotate those credentials yesterday. 3. Isolate. Lock down network access to port 8161 and that Jolokia endpoint. It should not be exposed to the internet. And 4. Hunt. Go through your broker logs and search for that exact string. It's a very high-fidelity indicator that someone's been knocking on your door.
You have to understand, ActiveMQ is a repeat offender. This is not new. This isn't the first time its management plan has been turned into an attack vector. We've seen it all: file handling flaws, other Jolokia abuse, even protocol-level bugs that ransomware crews jumped all over. The lesson here is crystal clear. Your admin interfaces are your #1 critical attack surface. You need to secure them with absolute paranoia.
All right, let me just take a moment to talk about the why we're doing this public advisory. There's a doctrine behind this. It's called Coordinated Vulnerability Disclosure, and we do it for a very specific reason.
The doctrine is simple. You have a right to know what risks are targeting your infrastructure.
We put this out there to force vendors to act, and more importantly, to arm you, the defender on the ground, with the intel you need to protect your perimeter. Because secrecy, that only helps the attacker.
This is Code Ninja Security. Now, execute on this intel, validate your patches, hunt for any signs of compromise, and stay secure. End transmission.